Welcome back. You're now watching the lifestyle segment of the weekend show brought to you by Holo Crunch. Crunchy, yummy goodness. You can find their products on www.holocrunchng.com. Today on the lifestyle segment, we'll be discussing obeying traffic rules and regulations during the Yuletide season. The Federal Road Safety Corporation has reiterated its commitment to safety of passengers on Nigerian roads across the country before, during, and after the Christmas period. The operational strategies lined up for the 2019 Ember Month campaign are to enforce safe driving to save lives and enlighten road users on their safety during Ember Months, particularly during the Yuletide, to reduce carnage on the roads and urge drivers to be mindful of their road users during the festive period. Joining us on today's program to discuss this, we have
with us Mr. Wobin Ayuba Gora, the Core and Sector Commander for the Federal Road Safety Corporation FCT Command. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
We also have with us Mrs. Elizabeth Benedict, the Chief Route Commander, CRC Public Education of the Federal Road Safety Corps. Welcome to the weekend show, madam.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mrs. Benedict. Let me start with you. Can you please talk to us more about your operational strategies in curbing road accidents during these Yuletide season?
Most of the things we are doing during this Yuletide season is things we've been doing before. We are trying to re-strategize on what we did the last time, and this time, did we succeed? Yes, we succeeded last year. This year, what more can we do? And so we have a lot of our men. They have been given what and what to look out for this season. Like if I may recall back during Ember Month campaign, we realized that a lot of people are absent-minded on the road. And we now said, look, let's focus on that. And there's so many people that are always in a hurry to go to where we don't know. This road, we've been plying this road for a couple of months, just the last 3 or 4 months of the year, and we are always in a hurry to go to places. We check overspeeding. All those things that will make somebody to say, look, I need to carry overload. If I don't carry overload, I'm not going to make my money at the end of the year. We check all those things as well. And so many other things that they have been given marching order to go ahead and look out for those things.
Okay, Mr. Wobin, in the past we always heard about the Ember Month, and I think road safety has made it popular that once it's October, September, we start talking about the Ember Month, and in December a lot of people tend to travel, which means there are potentially a lot of accidents. But I recall reading last year, road safety said the numbers had dropped relatively. Now, a lot of these travelings happen around this period. How come the speed limit devices haven't been fully implemented prior to this period?
Well, when we're talking about the speed limiting device, it actually checks speed, excessive speed. It is calibrated in such a way that it cuts off fuel when you are accelerating more than what it is calibrated to. So, for smaller cars, we all know that the maximum speed somebody can go is 100 kilometers per hour. And for commercial vehicles, especially the buses and taxis, the maximum speed they can go is 90 kilometers per hour. Now, the speed limiter is done in such a way that it's calibrated for those speeds. So you cannot exceed that speed. The issue of people not complying, to some extent, there's good compliance on the part of the commercial vehicles, especially fleet operators. We don't really take it lightly with any commercial vehicle, especially the fleet operators, who we check on a monthly basis. Though we may not go around the terminals as they are in the FCT, but I can assure you, we do check these things time to time to ensure that these speed limiting devices are installed in these vehicles.
Yeah, but
in fact, we also do that, we also do that on the highway during the course of our operational activities when we are doing enforcement. So, to some extent, I think the compliance is relatively average, well, both.
But back to this, because it's quite important for this period. There's a lot of concentration on the fleets, the big travel companies, but the majority of the ones people use are the smaller ones. And I understand this is installed, I think, in the engine. So how, or around the engines, inside the car, not within the exteriors or places which are easily accessible. So how, once they're in motion, how does road safety actually check, as opposed to just end of the motor periodically?
Okay. There's a USB cable that is there. It all depends on the fleet owners, where they want to install the gadget, that's the speed limiting device. But all the same, that USB must be visible, you know. So we have, let me say, what it takes to check. Because once you plug in that which you have to check the speed limiting device, whether it's installed or not. Because we understand some can just decide to bring, you know, trust a typical Nigerian. You can decide to just bring a USB cable, protrude it outside. That when you peep and you now see it, but it's more than that. Technology has gone beyond that. So, you know, we have.
So while I quite understand the point you're trying to make in terms of speed, you know, and Nigerians having to be cautious of this, yes, I also believe that there's a sensitization that needs to go on within your corporation, you know, to reduce the amount of accidents, especially during this festive period. There have been a lot of complaints that some of your officers just pull people aside for no apparent reason.
Or stay at junctions where most cars don't expect to see them, so people are pretty much ambushed, and so you just enter a bend and someone is flagging you.
No. You see, let me say this.
So the question is, what sort of trainings have you given your staff specifically for this period, where we know that more cars and more people are prone to accidents, you know, due to the celebration and the, you know, surge of people into most of these major cities at this time?
Now, let me clear certain things here. During this period, we do more of public education than arrest or enforcement. We do more of traffic control along the major highways than arrest. But that is not to say that when we see somebody who has committed certain critical offenses, that is those offenses that lead to crashes, that will turn our face on such a person, we pull him out, and of course we issue him a ticket. For example, we do have situations where commuters will complain about the driving habit of a particular driver. Maybe he's under the influence of drug or alcohol. To such, we'll not allow him to continue with that journey. We park the vehicle, call the company, send another driver that has a valid driver's license to come and take over the steering. We do that. So, as a matter of fact, our own staff, during this period, especially the peak hours, where people are moving en masse, they know that our cardinal objective, or what we need to do, is to ensure free flow of traffic. So if, imagine yourself, maybe 23rd, 24th or 22nd, or from 20th, that is when you see massive movement of people. At that period, you say you want to arrest on every offense. My brother, I can assure you that the hold-up you will experience will more than 5 kilometers.
Exactly. So what are the key indices that you look out for before you pull a car aside?
Now, so for example, if somebody is trying to undermine our capabilities while we are on the road, he is seeing us and he's using a phone, for example, while being behind the wheels. It doesn't tell well. To such, we'll pull him out. We see you on an overloaded, or the vehicle is overloaded, be it goods, be it passengers. We pull you out. Because we now look at you that, look, gentlemen, if we allow such an overloaded vehicle with passengers especially, carrying people like sardine, if the unexpected happens, hardly can somebody come out alive. Because some of the safety gadgets in that vehicle, especially the seat belt, that everybody is supposed to fasten, whether you are in front or you are at the back, there are seat belts that are provided in these vehicles. And everybody is supposed to fasten the seat belt. In an eventuality of a vehicle somersaulting, that seat belt plays a very important role. And so, if you overload the vehicle, nobody will fasten the seat belt. So in a situation of a vehicle somersaulting, some may be thrown out of the vehicle, and that same vehicle will land on them, and some again, because they are choked up or squeezed inside. And you know, mostly when a vehicle somersaults, it tends to also reduce the space inside it. And so when it shrinks or is compressed beyond where somebody can say, let me struggle to come out, you know that people can easily die. And so these are the things we want to avoid.
Mrs. Benedict, I'm talking about education, and I know this is your department.
Yes.
In the last 1 week, there were several articles, the first of which was clearly stating that a road safety senior official had said using of Google Maps while driving could get you arrested. And a couple of days later on Federal Road Safety's Twitter handle, they stated that his statement was misconstrued. However, they advised users to get a phone stand for their phones if they are going to be using Google Maps. So let's clarify, if someone is holding his phone or her phone while driving and searching Google Maps, not on a call, is that a punishable offense?
While on motion?
Yes.
While on motion is a punishable offense.
So can you speak to that?
If for any reason you don't have an idea where you're going to, like you're coming to AIT office, and of course, you know you have a lot of turns from the town to your area, and you can't find your way. Before you embark on that trip, I believe you must have gone through your phone, you know, go through your Google map. It will show you the direction of where and where you're going to. And you start. And we have an audio also with the Google map that can talk to you whether you are coming to this particular junction or you are 50 meters or 300 meters to your destination. When you proceed on your journey, it's believed that you have put this phone where you believe you can see it as you are moving. And to be fair to those of us that probably were not using the vehicles that come with these gadgets together, of course, so you have to rely on your phone. You get to a particular destination and probably the phone has gone on standby. You pull out again because you're not sure of where you're going to. So definitely you have to be ready to pull out at every point in time, to scroll through again and proceed on your journey. And this is not supposed to take more than 30 seconds, you're through, and you go in. But we have people who drive vehicles now. We have vehicles for 2020, 2019 vehicles, even 2015. They come with all these gadgets in the vehicle. They can just set everything where they are going to, and it directs them to their destination. What we really do not want is the contact with the phone on your hand while on motion. That is just what road safety is saying.
Which is fair. I mean, which is
it makes sense.
Practical,
because if you look at it, what we're saying is that this town now, the population we encountered 2-3 years back is no longer the population we have now.
Sure.
We have a lot of children who have turned 18 and above. They have gone to their driving schools, they have acquired driver's license, they're on the road now. We have a lot of corpers, graduates in this town, you know, and the road seems to be shrinking as we keep increasing in population. So you pick your phone, your eyes are not on the road, you're using only one hand to drive. I agree you're using an automatic, but you've lost concentration where you're going to. Within that twinkle of an eye that you take your eyes off the road to glance at your phone, anything can happen in front of you.
So what are some other things that the viewers also need to look out for while going behind the wheel? Obviously, use your seat belt. Don't turn up your music too loud. Don't be distracted by your phone.
Yes.
Do not speed. What else do we need to
like you said, overloading for the commercial vehicles. Some of the private vehicles, we've noticed that some of them, early in the morning, they use their vehicles to pick passengers. They also commit such offenses. We're saying no, it's not allowed. And if for any reason you have a 3-lane or a 2-lane, I don't know if you've noticed it, people are changing lane without signal, your traffic gates are not working, and your brake light is a nightmare when you're following somebody in front of you and he doesn't have a brake light, the best thing you can do is to give him more space. But I realize that I don't know what is happening with our driving culture in Nigeria. That space you gave, somebody will quickly. Do you understand?
What about earphones?
Sorry, Andy. There's this joke that when you signal, you're telling your enemies your next move. So you just
let them
don't.
know.
So you just don't
In fact,
signal.
that's when they will just go and block you.
Yes.
Look, I'm pretending I'm not seeing your signal.
Exactly.
I don't know whether you're going left or you're going right. But those are the things we are saying, look, we have to take note of all those things. Yes. This route is not free the way. As of far back as 1994, 1995, in FCT, you see one car pass, you can stay up to 30 minutes before you see another vehicle.
I mean, even 10 years ago, it wasn't as busy
it wasn't
as
as bad as it is
right
now. So we're increasing in population. Any small, attention you take away from the road, you match your brake. The person behind you is also matching. So they have this attitude of bumper to bumper kind of driving. I say, no, space. We have learners who have put L signs. You need to space. Give them space to maneuver. Look out for the person in front of you, beside you, behind you. Like we said, when you are driving for 5 vehicles.
I want to bring something. As sector commander, law enforcement and government officials have been seen as the cause of some number of accidents in the country because their escort and their pilot one vehicles have no respect for traffic rules. And so at red lights, they are rushing to God knows where. In thick traffic, they're pretty much whipping people out of the way because they need to pass. I haven't seen road safety or any of those organizations stop those government officials, those big jeeps, those pilot one cars, those Hilux with police officers and the likes who disobey traffic rules. Most of them don't even have those brake lights you speak about. So if the people who are law enforcement are not acting responsibly, how do other Nigerians take a leave? So what's being done about that, sir?
Well, it's not as if nothing is being done. As a matter of fact, if you have a convoy of perhaps, let me say, highly placed individuals, sometimes we may not say we are stopping them immediately. Because when you come out to say you are flagging them down, certainly you might see yourself being perhaps knocked down. Yes.
Exactly.
Perhaps being knocked down. So my safety is more important now. But what we do is we know the owner of that convoy. If it is a governor, if it is a minister or whoever, we take the information.
Most of them don't even have numbers on their cars.
No. But certainly you will definitely know whose convoy is that. Okay. There must be 1 or 2 vehicles that you can pick to know that this convoy is from so person. Then what we do is we write officially, intimating the principal that this is what your convoy did. I can assure you that we don't just see that and we fold our hands to sit down. No. In some cases, we go face to face to meet with the person. This is what we saw, and it's not proper. The president himself, we dare not be traffic light with him. Even before he came on board in 2015, when the election was done, I know that one of our patrol vehicles dedicated to him before he took over fully. Then the former president was in charge. He never beat traffic light, and he will never allow any of his convoy to beat traffic light. He gets there, they stop. Because I know our patrol vehicle was the one that was always taking the lead for him that time. And he has not changed. So if the president of a country does not beat traffic light, I think people who are responsible, who we look onto as our leaders, should be able to control their own subjects when it comes to issues of traffic rules and regulations.
You know, I'm glad you actually brought up this issue of traffic light, because I've always wondered, why is it harder to obey traffic rules and regulations in Nigeria than it is to do abroad? And the answer is quite simple, because it's punishable over there. It is punishable over here, but it's not enforced, right? So when you beat a traffic light in America, you're going to get a ticket. You know, you have automatic cameras taking, exactly, they'll send it to you via mail, you know. But in Nigeria, it's like the traffic light is suggestive. It's like, oh, it's red. Should I go?
Let me tell you something. Anybody that beat traffic lights, let me speak about Abuja.
Yeah.
You beat traffic lights, you are arrested, we issue you a ticket. It's not just even going to pay the fine. You must go to the hospital for emotional evaluation. We must receive that result before we can release your vehicle. So we are doing a lot on that. And we've done a lot of arrests on that. In fact, in the FCT, we have 5 critical offenses that we don't joke with them. You take one way, you are arrested, you pay for it. You beat traffic lights, you are arrested, you pay for it. You use phone while driving, you are arrested, you pay for it. You drive dangerously, of course. Whoever beat traffic light is already a dangerous driver. Whoever drives one way, that's road violation, is already a dangerous driver. Then, of course, overload. You are arrested for it, you pay for it. All these 5 offenses that I have mentioned, commit one of them, you must go to the hospital.
But how do you monitor? Because I see people beat
No,
the
no, we
traffic light
do.
all the time
We,
and
you
get
see,
away with
the
it.
co-marshal of the Federal Road Safety has a team that is called a Cobra team within the FCT. This Cobra team have motorbikes. Apart from other patrol teams.
But beyond Abuja now, because this is what
you
across
see,
the continent
like I
in
said,
the country.
Yes.
Do you have the staff capacity to manage this for all the states?
Well, we are trying our best. Like I always tell people when we have programs like this, every vehicle that commits an offense might not be arrested at the same time. And in any case, when we arrest a vehicle, we must attend to that vehicle first. When we are done, then we'll look out for another one. So you don't expect us to arrest vehicle on a road. No. But we are doing our best. In fact, the commercial has added more vehicles in the FCT as we speak.
And perhaps it would be beneficial to the Road Safety Commission Corporation if you can put in road safety call, if we can put in like a citizen's report. Because I remember I was driving on the highway a few days ago and a car was driving full speed
Facing you. Yes.
facing me, and I said,
And
this
signaling you to give him way.
Yes.
He has not
the
gone way.
person didn't even
That is
signal.
a-
The
that is
person
a-
was
that is
just
a
driving.
dangerous
So I was wondering, obviously the person isn't mentally okay, number one, and number two, was there a way that I could have taken maybe note of his or her plate number and
send
sent
it
it
somewhere.
to
Yes.
exactly?
Now, that's another thing I will also appeal to the motoring public. You know, you will see somebody doing a wrong thing on the road. Maybe somebody taking one way. Just pick the vehicle number plates. Bring it to us or send it to us.
How?
If you want to send such a number plate, you can call 122.
Okay.
That one is very easier.
122.
122.
Okay.
It's our free call line. So if you call 122, tell them this vehicle number, the person in this vehicle, this is what he did. He took one way from so place to so place. Give us less than 5 minutes. We'll go into our data bank, get the information about the owner of that vehicle. As we speak, I cannot tell you how many vehicles drivers I have called to come and pick their flying ticket in my office. Because if I leave my house, you see some of them beating traffic light. Before I get to the office, I will have gotten 2, 3, 4 people, number plates, that have beaten traffic light. You know, or some of them will be using phone while being there behind the wheels. So once I get the number plate, I will pick it. I get to the office, go into the system, I will get the information. Even your address is there. Your telephone number is there. So I give the person a call. You own so vehicle number. He said yes. Are you the one that drove the vehicle or somebody drove it this morning? If he's the one, he will say I'm the one. If he's not the one, he says somebody drove it. So, okay, tell that person this is the offense he committed. He should come to Zone 7, out of the sector commander's office, and collect his ticket. So we do that. In as much as cameras, CCTV cameras have not been displayed to grab that, and then you sit under the comfort of your room, you see somebody bring you a ticket. We will get there by the grace of God.
Yes.
We will get there in no distant time, I believe.
Awesome. That's a fine place to leave it. Thank you so much for coming on today's program. Well, you've heard it here. If you breach a traffic, if you commit a traffic offense, you'll be fined, and people are watching you. It's very easy. If you see someone who's doing that, just call 122. 22 and file a report, and the person will be fined. We'll take a short break right now. When we return, more on the weekend show. Don't go anywhere.